Hello, I'm Haider Ali, the chair of B690, and I'll take this opportunity to talk you through the exam. In order to pass the B690, you need to attend one of the online schools and pass the exam. The pass mark for the exam is 40%. There are no grades. We will now take an overview of the exam process and the structure of the exam paper. I hope that you'll find the content useful, not only for the exam itself, but also to help you focus on important issues of the North Airport case. The case study typically has 4 to 5 pages of text, including financial information. The case study will be posted online 2 weeks before the exam on the main B690 website. During this period, you can make notes, use your books, and discuss the case online with other students. But the notes that you make cannot be taken into the exam, where you will be given a fresh, unmarked copy of the case. Since you can discuss the case with other students on the B690 forums, do make sure you log in over the 2-week period. Some students generously share a lot of their analysis, but the best way to use this is as a basis for discussion and to do your own analysis as well. The exam will test your ability to work on your own. When you arrive in the exam hall, you will receive a copy of the question paper, and you will also receive a clean copy of the case. If you have your own printed copy, you will not be allowed to use it. This slide shows you the instructions on the front page of the exam paper. The exam paper is split into 2 parts. Part 1 contains 1 question. This is worth 70% of the total marks. All parts of question 1 are compulsory. I hope you'll see the similarities between the tasks the exam questions ask you to perform and the work you'll be doing in the online school. In order to answer part 1, you'll be given new information about the case. In the exam, do pay attention to the new information and assess how it will influence your answer. If you ignore it, you will compromise the total marks you can score. This is why simply using other students' analyses is not a good strategy. The exam will test your ability to analyse on your own without resources in a short period of time. Let's now look at some of the tasks you will be asked to perform for question 1. You'll need to identify a range of issues which affect the organisation in the case study. These issues should draw on material from across the certificate modules, and you'll need to explain which stakeholders are affected by them. A common reason for students performing poorly in B690, and indeed on the assessments for B628 and B629, is where there is a lack of continuity between, for example, your analysis and conclusions. For your recommendations, ensure that they are smart and that they progress logically from your conclusions. If you need to take into account any constraints or assumptions, make sure you mention them. You should also make reference to module themes. Your recommendations should also cover their implications, advantages, and disadvantages. Your presentation does have some marks allocated to it, and overall good presentation can help communicate ideas more effectively. If you do use models and diagrams in your answer, do say within the body of your answer how the information in the diagram or model should be interpreted. The examiner is not expected to work out the links. You can make citations of important authors if you wish, but this is not essential. One of the reasons why students fail B690 is that they do not attempt Part 2. Do ensure that you have a go. In order to attempt the questions in Part 2, you will need to read a second set of new information. This new information takes the form of a letter or email or bulletin board post, for example, and presents someone's views about the business referred to in the main case. The person writing the email typically identifies some problems within the business and makes some suggestions about how improvements could be made. Your task, using the critique framework, is to analyse what is being said and come up with some recommendations. As you'll see, the most challenging aspect of Part 2 is the fact that you have new information to analyse. Otherwise, the tasks themselves should be fairly familiar. This information is always in the form of words rather than numbers. As you have seen from the handouts for Johnny's Restaurant, the tasks you'll be expected to perform in the exam have been a feature of the residential school, and you'll have a chance to practice them on the main B690 forums in the coming weeks. Make sure you're familiar with the concepts and frameworks in B628 and B629. Do use management vocabulary in your answers. Remember, the purpose of the exam is to assess whether you've studied the certificate modules, and your use of such language demonstrates this. Avoid dumping concepts and ensure that they are relevant to your argument.